The Sentinels of the Arctic, Finland. Imagine a field full of towering soft-serve cones, then look at a picture of the Sentinels of the Arctic in Finland. There isn't all too much of a difference. Once the blanket of winter falls on the Finnish region of Lapland, previously green trees in an equally as green field become one shade of white, and it's pretty astounding. You might not think it's all that intriguing to see snow on trees, but Lapland is something just that little bit different. Both ice and snow cling to the branches of the trees to form giant cloud-like shapes that act as guardians of the land. Such is the beauty of this setting that photos taken by Italian photographer Niccolo Bonfaniti in negative 40-degree temperatures were chosen as image of the day on the NASA APOD website. Believe it or not, while Lapland looks devoid of life and barren in winter, it is anything but. Fish move around as usual below a layer of ice, while even mammals have adapted to survive. Then, within a few months, greenery begins to sprout through once more, waving goodbye to the ice cream man and his giant soft-serve trees. Number 5. Abraham Lake, Canada. Abraham Lake in Canada is kind of a bittersweet attraction. It is undeniably beautiful, which is why thousands of people make the trip to see it. But the reason it is such an attraction has to do with dangerous, explosive gases which can be harmful to both people and the environment. Abraham Lake was the result of the Bighorn Dam's construction in 1972. It became the largest man-made lake, even if it looks like any other glacial lake in the area. However, because it used to be home to plant life before becoming a lake, organic matter from plants and animals causes methane gas to float to its surface. When winter strikes, those bubbles of gas freeze to create astounding looking frozen bubbles on the lake's surface. They're definitely photo-worthy, but what do they mean? The bubbles freeze and stack on top of each other, but when the lake unfreezes in the spring, the methane is released into the air. Methane, which is a greenhouse gas, is around 25 times more potent than carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Its effect on the environment is bad enough, but methane is also highly flammable. If you light a match on the lake's surface, a surprising burst of flames can occur. There's no denying Abraham Lake in the winter is worthwhile to see, but the bigger picture of what it can mean is bittersweet at best. Number 4. Blood Falls, Antarctica. It's the stuff of nightmares. A seemingly innocent waterfall, but instead of water, blood flows from it. Well, not quite, but it sure looks like it. Antarctic scientist Griffith Taylor discovered the Blood Falls in Antarctica in 1911. To come across a 5-story glacier leaking blood must have been pretty scary. But Griffith, with a natural head for science, was keen to find out more about it, not run away in horror as others might. He discovered that the red coloring comes from a saltwater lake trapped around 1,300 feet under the glacier that is thought to be millions of years old. In that water are 17 different microbes, which is as astounding as the blood red water. Scientists, up until that point, had no idea that anything could survive in such inhospitable conditions. However, they now have a few theories as to why, and hope their existence could shed some light on whether or not other forms of life on other planets could also survive somewhere that was thought to be inhospitable for everyone and everything as well. Could it be time to move to Mars? Number 3. Crystal Caves, Naka Mine, Mexico. When you think of what's buried nearly 1,000 feet below a mountain, you usually think of dirt and, maybe some rock. After all, there's surely not a lot more than that, right? But if you're talking about the Sierra de Naka mountain in Chihuahua, Mexico, you can expect dozens of feet of crystals instead. The giant crystal cave below the mountain was first discovered in 2000, and it was full of selenite crystals. But these weren't just small crystals, they were tens of feet long and growing in temperatures above 136 degrees. They weren't there overnight either. It's thought that through a series of natural events, they've been growing for upwards of 500 to 900,000 years. However, you can't just go in and, have a look at these crystals or nab a sample for yourself. Because of the near 100% humidity, entering the cave is hazardous for your health. Stay there too long and fluid can condense inside your lungs. Since their discovery, the scientific community has been draining water from the caves, but the structural integrity of the crystals may be at risk. risk. This attraction may not be open to the public, but it's astounding to think that a real-life cave of crystals actually exists. Number 2.